Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. This is another one of my list videos, but as I mentioned earlier in some of my previous videos, sorry, I've got something in my eye. I'm trying to mix up my videos with different I don't know what that is. Different styles or whatever, so some are in this form and some are not. But anyway, I hope some people out there will enjoy this video. I'll try not to waffle too much, and hopefully I can support and empower Indigenous Australasians as much as possible, and Africans as well. So anyway, I'm going to try to crack on with the list rather, so try not to make the intro too long, but please check out part 1 and look out for part 3 if you haven't already checked out. If you haven't already checked out part 1, please check it out, and if after this, and hopefully look out for part 3. Stumbling on words, but yeah, so hopefully some people out there will enjoy this, and it will, as I say, it will empower and generally support as many Indigenous Australasians as possible. So here goes. So number 11, I would love to change perceptions of Indigenous Australasians and Africans, like possibly through TV shows and things like that, so that people will see a more positive side to Indigenous Australasians. And I'd also love to get them to network together with potential allies, as I said before, and hopefully help. I know that Africa has a few inventors, but I'd love to see, I'm not sure if there are any Indigenous Australasian inventors, but I'd love to help them to be put forward the idea, and then maybe people can mentor or teach or train them to become inventors or things like that, entrepreneurs, creatives. And hopefully in the future there'll be more Indigenous Australasian inventors, entrepreneurs, creatives, and people like that, as well as people who work in STEM generally and that sort of thing. So hopefully they'll be empowered in those sorts of areas as well. Number 12, I'd love to encourage people to mentor for Indigenous Australasians and have like hashtag mentor for Indigenous Australasians and Africans as well. A lot of these ideas can be applied to both groups, but in some cases, like the if Indigenous Australasians could have 10% of property and land and tax ownership, or tax collection ownership, or whatever, or investments, that would be a little bit different to people in Africa, because they are now a minority in where they originate from. So yeah, that would be one area where it's different, but most of these could apply to both groups, whether I remember to mention that or not. Number 13, I know there'll probably be a lot of opposition from Australasians of European descent, especially in Australia, from what I've heard. Like, I think things have changed quite a lot, but I still think there's a lot of prejudice, as far as I'm aware. Apparently, well, I hear there's a lot of prejudice against Indigenous Australasians from people of European descent, unfortunately. So I know there'll probably be a lot of pushbacks or opposition to these ideas, like helping Indigenous Australasians in STEM, or that sort of thing, or these ideas I'm trying to develop, or projects that would help them generally through social enterprise and NGOs and things like that. But hopefully I can push forward with these ideas. I also hope that African leaders won't let us down, like African politicians generally won't let us down in terms of like giving each of their citizens, or as many of their citizens as possible, PCs and laptops and things like that. Hopefully they'll hopefully I won't offend them either, but I think there is a perception that many of them are corrupt, or probably most, or pretty much all of them. So I hope they'll prove us wrong and show that they are actually supportive of their people, and they will prove their critics or doubters wrong by giving everyone across Africa, and possibly even Indigenous Australasians, a PC, laptop, Android or mobile phone each. And I hope NGOs and charities will work together on that. Number 14, on that note, I hope to solve some of those issues and problems, and bring together allies who can fight their corner politically, internationally, and that sort of thing, so that we can help, as I say, Indigenous Australasians and Africans to have a PC, laptop, Android or mobile phone each, or even many, and lots of training and apps, things like that. So people with learning disabilities or from neurodiverse backgrounds across Africa to have dyslexia or autism friendly apps and things like that as well. And Indigenous Australasians are also learning about neurodiversity, which will hopefully help them in the long run as well. And I hope to support those with disabilities across Africa, and Indigenous Africans and Australasians with neurodiversity, with disabilities generally. Sorry. Number 15, again, I'd love to hear, I'd love to connect together all possible social enterprises, social entrepreneurs themselves, NGOs, charities, governments, and others who are allies of Indigenous Australasians, coming together to help them to reach their aspirations, to become business people, entrepreneurs, if you prefer that term, and to work in STEM, and to offer like as much training in STEM as possible, and like to share that goal, whoever shares that goal, hopefully working together like friends of Indigenous Australasians and Africans working together. And hopefully in the future also Indigenous Africans and Australasians working together themselves as well with each other. Number 16, I would love to also hear other people's ideas. So I'm going to probably leave my email in the comment section so people can send me their ideas. I don't know if that's a wise idea, but hopefully it'll be all right. So I'll post my email, which is italia29882@hotmail.co.uk, which I'm going to post anyway, but I thought I'd mention it as well. But yeah, so please look out for that in the comment section. And again, yeah, looking at the best possible ways to support them, as I often say. Number 17, it would be hard to imagine, but I hope that we can achieve even more than I would imagine. And by using imagination and creative ideas and coming together and talking about what rights and support Indigenous Australasians and Africans can get or should get, we can hopefully make those things a reality, and even work with international bodies such as the UN to make sure they get rights internationally, and even work with other groups like Native Americans and people like that in Asia as well, Indigenous Asians as well. Often what I call the 4 or the 6, which I have to mention. Number 18, yeah, hopefully the future will be bright for Indigenous Australasians. It's been, I think they've gone through quite a lot, so hopefully the future can be bright for them, and we'll look at their strengths and hopefully help them as much as possible. 19, I'd love for all possible Indigenous Africans and Australasians to get at least an hour practice or training through teachers, trainers, volunteers, mentors, and people like that. Again, social entrepreneurs, NGOs, charities and whatnot, even governments themselves, or even businesses perhaps funding things like that, so that they can get at least an hour's training in science, tech, engineering and maths, and maybe even many more out than just an hour. So hopefully also making it a game so that they can enjoy it as well, so young children especially can learn, and then they can teach their parents, and they can teach each other what they know as well. So people of all ages sort of teaching each other and helping each other along as well. And but yeah, hopefully again, as I say, at least an hour in each of those things. So like 4 hours of training a day in science, tech, engineering and maths respectively, but maybe even more than that. And some of it could be taught online, some of it in schools and whatnot. So it could be extracurricular as well. And number 20, I would love to see Indigenous Australasian software developers in the future as well. I know there are already a lot of African software developers, and I think Africa is one of the fastest growing, or is the fastest growing continent for software developers. But obviously they have some way to catch up with other countries, so they have to grow a bit faster just to catch up. But hopefully in the future they can lead in that field as well. Excuse me. And again, so yeah, I'd love to see Indigenous Australasians in STEM, and that includes in software development and STEM generally, and hopefully different organisations, as I say, social enterprises, obviously run by social entrepreneurs, like-minded people or well-meaning people, sharing ideas, a think tank or committee or think tank or whatever, which shares those ideas and then looks at how to put them into action through action plans and things like that. So how to put them into practice, into action, whichever way you want to put it. And also, as I say, work on lobbying the governments to make sure that they get at least an hour training in those areas like science, tech, engineering, maths, software development, programming, coding. And I'd love to see as well like young app designers making lots of money, maybe making millions like they do in America and elsewhere in Indigenous, Australasian and African communities. So hope you enjoyed this video, and as ever, please let me know what you think, and I'm out. Peace out.